So I am going to share with you, or I'm going to be sharing with you, 5 videos, short ones, and they're part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they all lead into each other. And the reason I'm doing that is because, as you know, I usually do like a video share, and it's general. It's like a rainbow of what's going on, and there's an energy check-in, and that just like kind of like just like scrapes off the top. I have gone through a massive awakening over the last few weeks, and I've been building up, and I think everybody is kind of going through something very similar because the energy in the planet is just rising. We are going through so many starbursts, man, and that is just like planetary alignments and things expanding, supermoons, God knows what else. It's just going, right? So there's no wonder that I've gone through what I've gone through, and there's no wonder that you're probably experiencing the same. As turbulent as it might be, you are moving in the right direction. So let me jump into this video number 1, and we're going to be calling, I'm looking at my list here, see, because I've strategically written it all out. So we're going to be talking about inadequacy and fear and anxiety and self-doubt and. So that's my life, believe it or not. And I think it's really important to share about those feelings and emotions and negative belief systems, because that's been my life for a very, very long time. I mean, as a youngster, I had many years of drug addiction because I just wanted to climb out of myself. I never felt comfortable on this planet. Come from a very loving family, but as a very, very sensitive starseed, this life for me was just a bit too whoa, you know what I mean? And I just wanted to escape. And that's kind of maybe where a lot of us maybe be able to resonate to that, because one way or another we want to book out because it's intense. And why is it intense? Because we're living our experience through our mind, body and emotions, not our awareness, which is what the series of these 5 videos is all about, because that's the awakening I've been through. Now, I am somebody who has a very, very powerful mind, and I've worked extensively with ayahuasca. And her journeys can be very, very powerful. Sometimes you're left bewildered, not really knowing what went on actually, because it's so deep. But since this awakening, I have now understood that all of my journeys was ayahuasca showing me my mind and how powerful it is, and you know how it has the ability to destroy me, and that's effectively what your negative emotions and belief systems do. So I started, let's go back. I want to give you a little bit of an insight about where I'm coming from, because I think when you see people on video like this and you're like, there's a comparison, you know, you go, oh, wow, look, they've got their shit together. They're rolling with it. Oh, you know, I'll never get like that. I'll never have the courage to do that. But I'm here to tell you my story so you can actually understand that none of us have got our shit together. No one knows exactly how to nail this thing we call life. We're just figuring it out as we go. And different things work for different people. So you pick, but don't get it twisted. We're not all sat here going, yeah, my life is like clockwork. I got stuff going on too, which is what I'm going to share with you. So I've been in Cape Town for 6 years. I got the calling to move from Zimbabwe. Let me just break down what my life was like there. I had a very successful business as an exercise specialist. I was a Pilates teacher. I was also working in the healing realms, you know, so I had this beautiful rainbow of just clients, abundant in money earnings, everything. And I worked from my home. My kids were there. I even had a driver, you know, I didn't have to do anything except work from 6 until 6 doing what I love. And then all of a sudden there was this massive awakening that came through me, and it was like an engine that wouldn't switch off, and it would drive me loopy. And it was like this feeling that I had to go. And I was like, what is this feeling? I had made plans to make a huge wellness center. I even sorted out the plans, bought the land, and we were good to go, and basically create this. This was my dream. I was going to create a whole center for people to come to, and I was like, yes, we're finally doing it. So we got so close, and then I woke up and I said to my husband, I've got to go to Cape Town. And he's like, you what? Well, he said a lot worse than that, but he was just like, really? And that's what happened. It was a calling. So I dropped all of that, not knowing what all of this energy was, but I knew I couldn't live with this energy inside of me. It was just, it wouldn't let me rest. So I basically ended up in Cape Town, and that was where my journey of awakening really, really started. It really began because I didn't have a business here. I wanted to, well, I thought I knew myself, but the coming to Cape Town was about dismantling the old self. And that's what I did. A lot of self-work. I went to Peru. That's in this time. I went to Egypt several times, and I did work with powerful shamans, many different shamans, people all over the world. They just gathered information, deconstruct. But what was happening as I was collapsing all these old timelines is there was this power and this big mission really raising up to say, hey, girl, time for you to get going. And and the more I followed my path to purpose, the more inadequacy exploded, the more anxiety I got, and the more fear I got. So as I moved into, you would have thought, like getting more in alignment with my purpose, my traveling in that direction got really intense and very uncomfortable, and I was having anxiety attacks in the middle of the night. I kind of just followed all the breadcrumbs, which one would usually do. Okay, so I want to be international, so let me work with some really big marketing companies, pay them a shit ton of money, loads of US dollars, and what was created for me was just not correct. But also what it did is, now seeing myself out there in the international sector in a big way, it was just like, it really, really activated more and more anxiety and fear. And it was just a horrible, horrible experience. And I'm trying to figure this out now in my mind, going, well, I know the guidance was to bring this big body of work that I've got going on. I know the guidance was to work with a marketing company because I don't know how to do all of this stuff. Why am I feeling so I'm just vibrating in fear? And it's like, doesn't make sense. So I have lived in that vibration for some years now, and people wouldn't think it to be so, because you just see this, you see a whole lot of bubbles, and I just roll with it. But this is where it's really important for you to understand and know what really goes on behind the scenes, so you can relate to it. Because otherwise, in your mind, you create this image. If you want to step out with your own body of work and you're feeling the same, well, there's no way I could do that, because, teachers that I watch on YouTube or Insta, the element of perfection, I could never be that. Perfection is bullshit anyway. But you know what I'm saying? So it's really important for you to know that nobody's got their shit together. And the reason most of us don't have our shit together is because we are living in our mind, body, emotions. And that is kind of like what this video is all about, is because first of all, we're just going to land with that and understand why your path is so difficult, right? So when you have an emotion or a negative belief or anything like that, that is energy that's wanting to release and to come out and to be, to be let go of. But what we do is we repress it. So we just keep believing these negatives. So they just re-churn up again and again and again. So we just keep believing the hype. We keep believing that mental conversation, and we can't understand why we feel so confined. Because remember, when you are in your head, you are in a limited perspective. If you are accessing your life from your head, you're going to see everything is like only that much. You're just going to see lack, scarcity, and problems, right? But if you come into your heart energy and you work with what you call your heart brain, then you're going to see just expansiveness, limitless, infinite possibilities. That's the difference. And it's really as black and white as that. So with this big awakening that I've gone through, I have realized, and I think that many teachers, not just peeps, just general in their life, with 2.4 kids and just, working at a bank, whatever. Even us spiritual types, many of us are still accessing our path through our mind, body, and emotions. And that is why we come up with so much struggle. So I think, first of all, this is about understanding where your location is at. Where's your location? What's your postcode? Are you postcode head or are you postcode heart? Okay. And if you are one of those people that are just having this, here's the two versions. You're either effing miserable and you're just stuck in that cycle of just lack, limitation, all the rest of it constantly, then you are living in your head constantly. If you are where that's where I started. If you are somebody who's just like, wow, 2-3 days feeling amazing, body slam, face down in the flowers, then you're absolutely out the game. That is like, you keep shifting. You've kind of got the message to come into here, but you're going to go back here because it's what you know. So there's this kind of like oscillating between the head and the heart. And then you have the ones, which are all the great masters and teachers like Eckhart Tolle and Rhonda Byrne and all of these amazing people people who are just basically in flow, man. And they are just, you know, effortless, easeful. They just enjoy happiness. Nothing is a stress. They've landed in the heart awareness. So that's the difference. So I'm going to leave you with this video and ask yourself, just take a moment, maybe journal about it. Which is your postcode? Are you in the head constantly? Are you a mixture of both, head and heart? Ask yourself that. Have awareness on that. Or are you one of these really like happy types who's just nailed it? And if so, can you please do a video? So ask yourself where you're at. So I'm going to leave you with this video now and ponder on that. And we'll see you for video number 2 very soon. Peace.